you for joining me for this comprehensive overview of WeCare's enrollment platform, part of the AmWINS Advantage program. This video will cover the primary components of WeCare to provide you with the information you need to navigate the software. If you have a specific question about our software, please view our library to see if it is covered in one of our helpful video shorts. Detailed personalized training is available by visiting advantage.amwins.com and requesting a site demonstration. We'll be starting from the login screen on WeCareWorks.com. Let's begin. To access the site, click on the enrollment link provided. Enter the case ID as well as the user ID provided during implementation. Once done, click Enroll Now. This will take you over to a password screen where you will see the Aflac logo and welcome to your 2019-2020 benefits. This enrollment year will coordinate with the current enrollment year in which the case is enrolling. Here you would enter the password given as well as retype the security code as seen on the security code screen, as seen in the security code box. Once this is done, you can click Enroll Now, and this takes you into the admin portal. Now, the admin portal is only seen during enrollment by the HR admin or the enrollment team. This will not be seen by the employees during self-service enrollment. Here in the admin portal, you can quickly look at reports, perform employee management, as well as give access to other employees or HR admins that need to have the same access. Now, I won't go into detail on this admin portal because we do have a demonstration which is specifically tailored to the admin portal. If you need to see that, please contact our office. To work with an employee, simply look that employee up by name. You can type in a full name or a partial entry of the name. This Find Employee search box works just like the Google search engine, so putting in a full or partial entry is going to return all related results. Once you click Find Employee, you'll see that this is going to return under the employee search results all employees related to your search. We typed in John here, and everyone with John in their name, whether it's their first or their last name, returns to us. To access an employee's record, simply click on the employee that you're needing to work with, and that takes you into the census and dependent data table where you can see employee information, also the dependent info on file. Now, during implementation, we can load dependents to the site. However, that's not mandatory, as the employee does have the ability to add a dependent into the system. I will show you that during the demo. On the screen, you're also able to see benefit information. The system will provide information in regards to in-force coverage, as well as in-process elections and final elections. The in-force coverage listed will be any coverage that the employee has in force already, as well as what they are currently paying on that premium. So you'll see that the coverage tier is listed, as well as the cost per pay period. Now, if the employee had accessed the system during the enrollment and made changes to in-force elections, that will show in the in-process column, letting you know what they're making the change to. The final election is stamped to let us know what is the actual final election, whether they made a change or they're continuing the enforced coverage. That is the final election that will be sent on file to Aflac. So we're actually going to go back and work with another employee. Okay. As we see here, the benefit information table changes based on what the employee has in force, and this employee does not have any coverage in force or any in-process elections, as well as any final elections. Okay. To start the election process, you would simply click Enroll, and this takes you into the employee access info page. Now this page is only seen again by the HR admin or enrollers. This is not something that would be seen by the employee during self-service. So the enroller or HR admin, to start the enrollment, there's nothing that they would need to do to the access codes or enrollment dates, as this is preset information that's in the system. However, they would need to confirm the effective date that's being assigned. As you see here in this orange box, it does read any transactions made to this employee's benefits will have the effective date as shown above. If you are in agreement with this effective date, you would click the white check box here. However, if you're not, you would simply change the effective date in the system or contact our office to have that updated. Here, the enrollers as well as the HR admin have the ability to identify the enrollment method. You'll have call center and one-on-one, and for those enrollments that are including the 8x8 call center that's offered by AFLAC, there's an option for that that's added during implementation as well. Once the enrollment method is selected, come down to the bottom and click Enroll Employee, and that takes you into the enrollment site. Now going back, if this was a self-service enrollment where the employee was logging in, they would perform the same login process of entering in the case ID, the user ID, and password. Once they click Enroll Now on that password screen, this is the very first screen that the employee will see. They will not see the admin portal as we just saw. You'll see that the system contains the AFLAC logo. We do have the ability to tailor this to where it shows the group's logo. On this page, you'll have the terms and conditions, which is the online service legal agreement. This reviews using ID and password as signature, authorizing benefit changes and deductions, as well as privacy information. To proceed, you would simply click Agree. Now going forward, during the enrollment, the HR admin, enroller, and the employee have the same view once they get to this page. Nothing is different in the enrollment process. Everyone sees the same pages and performs the same processes in order to make elections. Okay, here we have our website instructions. Now, this alert, your enrollment period is closed, that is showing when the employee's record is closed. So if they have a qualifying life event or if they are a new hire, they will not see this information. This is just kind of an alert box that we like to show during the demo to let you know that we can manage qualifying life events. So if someone is in the system and they are outside of their enrollment period, they would not be able to enroll. There are 3 ways to navigate through the site. You have your quick nav drop down here. If you hover over the quick nav drop down, you'll see a list comes up for you. Clicking on any of the items in this list will take you to the associated page within the site. The second way is this blue ribbon here. Clicking on any of the items on this blue ribbon as they're highlighted will take you to the associated page within the site as well. The third way is the next and back buttons. This will allow the employee to see each page. I like suggesting the use of the next and back buttons because it just assures that nothing is skipped during the enrollment process. You do have a Learn More box where we can house a user guide. That user guide is a list of frequently asked questions and answers, such as how do I add dependents. Once the user guide comes up, the employee will see the listed questions. They would click on that question and a PDF document will come up giving them a list of instructions as well as screenshots that will apply to how to perform that specific process in which they have a question on. There's also some other instructions here on how to use the website, just brief instructions on updating dependent records, selecting benefits, as well as a general understanding of the website. We also have a helpline here. There are different numbers that we can put here. We'll put a 800 number that goes to our AmWINS call center if you're using the AmWINS Advantage offering, or we can put the AFLAC call center, or if you have a specific call center in which you're using during your enrollment, we can put that number as well. So that's tailored based on how you are performing your enrollment. Okay. So we'll go ahead and proceed to the next page, which is going to be the personal data or employee information page. As you see here, the employee's name is highlighted, and there is just a description of what this information is. It is the employee's personal data. If they need to review this and find that something is incorrect, they can simply click edit. That box will change to allow them, or open up to allow them to make changes. They would then make the necessary changes and save those changes, and that is saved in the system and sent on the file to AFLAC. Our next screen is going to be our job information page. Here, the employee will see job information as it pertains to the information we received on the census. We can show the full gamut of this information that's listed, or we can take out pieces and parts. So if you just want to show things that are specific to your enrollment, such as hire date, pays per year, and hours per week, we can limit that information to where those three options are the only things that are shown. However, if you are offering disability, we do show the salary that is provided to us on the census. We can leave this page open to where the employee can edit this information. However, some clients do ask that we lock this down to where they're only able to view it and they're not able to make any changes. There is a note here indicating this is the information that is currently on file regarding your employment status. Review this data shown to make sure it is both complete and correct. If you have any questions or this information is correct, contact Human Resources. So we'll go ahead and move forward, and we'll come to the family information page. As you see, the employee's name is still being displayed, and here the employee is given information in regards to the dependents that they currently have on file. As I indicated previously, we do have the ability to add the dependents into the site if they're received on the census. However, if not, this is the opportunity in which the employee can add the dependents into the site themselves. So in order to start that process, they would simply click the Add New button. Once done here, they would then go ahead and put in the spouse or dependent information name. Once they get to the Social Security field, you'll see a pop-up comes up indicating please enter Social Security number or all zeros if not known. So if the employee does not know this information for the spouse or dependent, or does not want to provide it, that is fine. They can satisfy this requirement by putting in all zeros. They would then move to update the relationship, as well as put in the date of birth. Make sure the gender is set correctly and the disabled status is set correctly. Once that is completed, they can click Save Changes, and they successfully have added a spouse into the site. We'll go back in and repeat the process to add a dependent child. Okay, so we successfully added that record, and we do have a spouse and dependent child now. If the employee needs to make an edit or change to the spouse or dependent information, they can simply click edit. That will take them back into the record to where they can make any updates needed. We'll go ahead and proceed to the next page, which is going to be the first AFLAC product, which is generally the accident plan. You see the choices for the new plan year box is listed, showing the plan year. This plan year box is tailored to the group's plan year. All employees are loaded to the site as waive plan if there is no enforced coverage. That status only changes once they go into the site to make an election. If this employee had existing coverage, if we were dealing with a re-enrollment situation where they had enforced coverage from a previous enrollment year, that existing coverage will show in the existing coverage box. It will give the coverage tier information as well as the current premium that they're paying for that insurance. For the Aflac Ease partners, you'll see that your Learn More box is going to present to you plan information document, which is the Aflac product brochure. There's also an video for the product and then a needs estimator. We still continue to show the service center number for the call center, or if it's going to be an agent enrollment call center, that for a number that you provide, that number still displays throughout the site. The costs are also shown based on the employee's pay frequency that we receive on the census file. So if you have multiple pay frequencies, such as if you have an employee that's paid on a weekly basis and then an employee population is paid bi-weekly, they will each see their deductions in their specific pay frequency, as long as we have that information provided to us on the file. To start the enrollment process, you would click Change Coverage. That brings up a brief description of the accident plan, where you have two options: apply for coverage or continue elections. If the employee gets here and decides they do not want to take the accident plan, they can click Continue Elections, and that will take them back out to the main system where they can proceed to the next product. If they want to apply for coverage, they simply do just that, apply for coverage. And you'll see that the first question they are presented with is, who do you want to enroll? So there is a list of the employee as well as the spouse and child that we added on the family data page. The employee is automatically selected because Aflac rule states in order for the spouse or dependent to take coverage, the employee must take coverage. As far as who do you want to enroll, if the checkbox is white, they can go ahead. That means that that person is eligible for coverage, so they would start selecting the names of the people that they want to take coverage. However, if they get to someone where their box is grayed out, that means that that individual is ineligible for coverage, and the system does give insight to that status. As you see here, the child is ineligible as they are over the issue age for the Aflac accident plan. Okay, so your plan choices are identified for you, and based on your selections here, the employee and spouse premium is now highlighted. So whatever your selections you make here will determine the premium that you see highlighted here. For example, if we remove the spouse, we see now that the employee only premium is highlighted. You also have a bigger view of the cost out to the side, where you see your cost for the plan that's selected is $10.69 based on the biweekly pay frequency we receive for this employee. Once done making your selection, you would click Submit, and you have your application for coverage. Answer the questions as needed, and then click Submit. Now with this, you do have the opportunity to add beneficiaries. Now once we get into the beneficiary selection, once the employee gets to the beneficiary selection page, it's going to look like this. How would you like to assign your beneficiaries? So you have some choices that you can choose from. You have estate at 100%, spouse at 100%, or all children equally. If the employee does not want to select any of these options, they have the opportunity to assign a beneficiary by name by selecting New Beneficiary and then click Assign. Once that's done, they would then have the ability to type in the name of the beneficiary as well as select the relationship of that beneficiary. They're also able to assign a percentage. The system is programmed with logic to allow them to assign multiple beneficiaries. However, they must all add up to 100%. They cannot go over 100% or they cannot go under 100%. Once done, they would click Add, and they successfully have assigned a beneficiary for the accident plan. To proceed, you would only click Submit, and you have your terms and conditions in which you would review. agree, and provide the electronic signature authorization. Now, the electronic signature authorization is going to be two parts. It's going to be the last 5 digits of the social security number and the 4-digit year of birth. However, that is tailored to the actual group. So if the group isn't using social security number but they're using employee ID, that is what the signature box would call for, the employee ID versus the social. Once done, you would click submit, and you have your election summary where you see the new election gives you the plan 1, employee and spouse that we just selected, the cost per pay period, and the plan effective date that's assigned. And of course, that plan effective date is tailored to the group's offering as well. We'll go ahead and continue elections, and that takes us back out to the main system where we see our wave plan status has now changed, showing the election that we just made as well. That was it for the accident plan. So we're going to go ahead and proceed with the enrollment and go to the next AFLAC product, which is the group critical illness. As you'll see, the layout is going to be the same that we just saw with the accident plan. You have your choices for the new plan year box. You also have your existing coverage box and then your learn more box. To start the election, we do the same that we did with the accident plan by clicking change coverage. And we have a brief description of the critical illness plan and our two options, apply for coverage or continue elections. To proceed, we'll click on apply for coverage. And the first question that we have here is, have you used tobacco products in the last 12 months? Now, this question will only show in the system if you're offering a tobacco rated critical illness plan. However, if you are offering uni tobacco rates, that question will not present. To start the election process, though, the employee would need to answer the question for both the employee and spouse. Once they do that, they will then have the opportunity to select a benefit tier. If we leave it as is right now, there's no way that we can select a benefit tier. There's no way to type this in or make any changes in that selection. So we'll go ahead and answer the tobacco question, and we see that now our orange arrows appear. That allows us to choose between the actual increments that we have here. So the increments that are listed, currently on the screen, you'll see the minimum and maximums of $5,000 for the employee and spouse, and the maximum of $50,000 for the employee and $25,000 for the spouse. Now, this can be tailored to your group's offering. So if you have a group that only wants to offer guaranteed issue amounts of 20 and 10, we can set that up to where they can only select that specific amount, or they can select it in increments. So it's basically, this can be tailored to your group's offering that we receive with the requirements package. To select the benefit, as I indicated earlier, you would just use the orange arrow keys, and this would be done by the employee, by the HR admin, or the enroller, as everyone is seeing the same enrollment process. You'll see that the increments go up in increments of 5,000. And again, this can be tailored to be specific to the group's offering as well. All right, so we have selected $15,000 for the employee. It shows us our cost per pay period for the employee itself, and then we're going to go back and select an amount for the spouse. Now, we are able to go up in increments of 5,000. However, for the spouse, it is subject to 50% of the employee's elected amount, so you will see increments of $2,500 for the spouse. We selected $15,000 for the employee, so that limits us to $7,500, as AFLAC rules states that the spouse is only eligible for 50% of the employee's elected amount. The costs are shown out to the side individually for both employee and spouse, and then they are shown as a total cost as well. Now we'll go back, and you see that there's an asterisk here. This asterisk identifies guaranteed issue amounts. So that is an amount that is given irregardless of the health questions. There's no health questions displayed when a guaranteed issue amount is shown. However, with the AmWINS Advantage platform, once we click submit, we see that because we selected amounts over the guaranteed issue amounts, we're going to see health questions. But with the AmWINS Advantage platform, or that supports the Aflac Ease offering, we see that once we answer the health questions, if we answer a health question unfavorable, the system performs field underwriting, in which it stops the enrollment and gives a note to the employee to let them know that they've selected an amount over guaranteed issue, and based on their answers, they're not eligible for that amount. As you see, that is the note that displays. It says, based on your response to one or more of the above questions, coverage cannot be issued at the requested coverage amount. However, you may be eligible to elect the guaranteed issue coverage amount. Please click the back button and apply for guaranteed issue coverage amount indicated by an asterisk to continue your enrollment. So if the employee answers a health question unfavorable, they're not able to proceed with the enrollment. They're only given the opportunity to go back and make a change to where they're only selecting a guaranteed issue amount. Okay. Once that's done, they no longer have to answer health questions, and the system has performed the field underwriting. Now, this is only available for those that are using the Aflac Ease offering and are on the AmWINS Advantage platform. Okay, we'll go ahead and click submit. And we are now able to assign a beneficiary. So one of the cool things about the system is if we select spouse here and click assign, it's going to bring in the spouse that we listed on the family data page. That's some time savings in having to re-enter that information. It does go ahead and automatically populate that information for us. So we'll go ahead and click submit, and we have our terms and conditions for the critical illness, and we would need to then agree and provide the electronic signature authorization. Once that's done, we'll click submit. And we have our election summary, which shows our new election, the coverage for employee and spouse, the cost per pay period, and the plan effective date. So we'll go ahead and click continue elections. Our waive plan status has now changed, showing us our elected amount, and we can now proceed to the next product. And with this is the hospital indemnity plan. As you see, the layout and functionality is the same, and that promotes the use of the system as far as being easy to use. We'll go ahead and click change coverage, and once we get into the enrollment for the hospital indemnity plan, you'll see that it has the same process as the accident plan. The system will present us who do we want to enroll. We make those selections. The premium based on our selection is highlighted. As we see, we selected employee and spouse, so the employee and spouse premium is highlighted. It is shown out in a bigger view out to the side, so there's no question as to what premium is being paid. We'll go ahead and click submit, and we have our application for coverage we would need to answer. Once we've answered those questions, we can click submit. We would need to select our beneficiary, assign that beneficiary. The system confirms the assignment of the beneficiary. We'll go ahead and click submit, and we have our terms and conditions in which we would review and then agree and provide our electronic signature authorization. Once we're done here, we would click submit. We've successfully signed that application, and in proof of that, we have our election summary, which show our new election of Plan 1 for employee and spouse, the cost per pay period, and the plan effective date. So we'll go ahead and continue our elections, and we see our waive plan status has now changed for the product, and we'll go ahead and do the next, where we see our election summary. The election summary is a document that provides the employee, enroller, or HR admin an overview of what was elected, as well as the data that we have in the system for the employee. So you'll see the personal information is highlighted, and we also have the locked-in benefits. We'll list the benefits by name. And then we have the election that was made for each benefit, as well as the cost per pay period and the total per pay amount for all coverages together. Now, the employee, HR admin, or enroller does have the opportunity to print this confirmation statement by clicking the printer icon, and once they've done that, that'll print out for them. They can retain that information for their records. Once done, they can go ahead and click log off, and that takes them back out of the system. We hope you found this video helpful. You can view other videos on our channel or visit advantage.amwins.com to request an in-depth site demonstration.